Good afternoon, or morning still. Got a few minutes till it's the afternoon, so I can call it that properly. Welcome back, everyone, to the channel. I hope that you're all doing well and having a nice day out there, whether it's sunny, as it is outside right now, but it's also kind of cold, and I don't know why, but I'm feeling just a little chilly today. We're going to listen to the poem of Ecstasy. This is from Alexander Scriabin. We've just listened to him recently. He made his debut on the channel here just a few days ago here. And we're going to listen to this particular piece of music from him now, which was written between 1905 and '08, entitled The Poem of Ecstasy. I'm kind of excited to get into this one. After listening to Prometheus, I'm curious to see what else he has up his sleeve. So we're going to take a listen to this. We're diving in because this was suggested and sponsored by Alan. I appreciate the support, Alan. Thank you so much for the suggestion. Thank you for the continued education as we dive into a little bit more from Mr. Alexander. Let's go ahead and pull up the track. We'll discuss it a little bit after. It's loading. It's loading. I'm pulling it up on YouTube right now. And it just started. Here we go. I love the writing, the font there. These gentle swells in the music. That was romantic. Beautifully led. Some incoming drama. that too. Short-lived ecstatic moment. It really is deep waves of ecstasy. There's a hurry. It's just left to the This is a really powerful piece. And it always resolves in a somewhat similar fashion. It just doesn't let you go. It's just these little moments that allow you to have a lull or rest before it builds right back up. It's just reoccurring euphoria. Like those little pluck strings. You felt that. Ooh, you felt that one. So good. So good. Okay. It perfectly lives up to its name. Just as Prometheus was a poem of fire, poem of ecstasy, and it is just constant reoccurring waves upon waves of euphoria, just washing directly over us, crashing into us, and then the wave retreats. And there's a little bit of peace, there's a little bit of rest, a lull, if you will, and then the crest of the wave comes right back at us in full force. And this really did just live its post name. It was just ecstasy the whole time. It just felt like completely like hitting those satisfying highs over and over and over. Most songs build up to one climax. This one had several. I couldn't say how many, but several riding through it, which was just really impressive how it's done, because it doesn't feel exhausting, you know? And even the rest aren't like completely quiet or minimal moments when there's not a lot going on. There's actually, most of this piece, there's constantly something happening, even in its quietest moments, even in its most solitary moments. But when it builds up into those huge mountainous endings, it blows the top off in a spectacular way. The depth of the timpani and the percussion back there, the cymbals, it rumbles like a mountain slide every time it would hit those highs, and it just made that effect that much deeper. This was a really fantastic piece to listen to. It just felt good. You know, like you know what this piece sounds like when you're having a good day, when everything's just going right. You know, whatever that right may be for you. That's what 5 minutes of this piece sounds like. Pretend it's a week of things going right for you. Every day just keeps getting better and better and better as it goes through the week. That's how this piece sounds like in totality. With a little rest, it feels good. And even the moments where a little bit of drama is inserted, where it sounds like the strings maybe get a little bit darker, where it sounds like the tempo picks up, the violins start to cut a little bit faster on the strings, and it feels like it's building up to something maybe a little bit more chaotic, it always ebbs out into some beautiful, blissful top. And it's just always a pleasure to listen to. And it's interesting how, in a way, every time those highs come, the way that they finish themselves off, it doesn't go off in some like extended session where it holds that high for a long time. It comes and it goes and it retreats. And it does so in a very similar pattern over and over as it goes through its motions. And then the way that it starts itself back up sometimes is completely different. But it always gets back up to that same place. You know, sometimes the strings are slower when it starts back up. Sometimes it sounds like, you know, like I said, they're coming in a little bit more aggressive. There's a darker sound. The horns coming in, the trumpets and such. It starts off differently, but it always travels the same path. And that path is to that bright light of enlightenment as it reaches those beautiful, beautiful highs. This was a really fantastic one to listen to. Let's look at some of the information about this particular piece of music. It says it premiered in 1908 in New York City. Scriabin sometimes referred to the poem of Ecstasy as his fourth symphony, although it was never officially called such, and avoids the traditional division into separate movements. There are traces of the classical sonata key scheme that Scriabin had employed previously, but it is no longer structurally important. As described by Bernard Jacobson, the form depends instead on the constant interpenetration and cross-fertilization of a multiplicity of tiny thematic units, most of them so sinisterly chromatic as to subvert tonal feeling, almost entirely beneath the vertiginous onslaught of shifting harmonic colors. I gotta tell you, while a lot of this is lost on me, what he said in specifics, it sounds good. Much of the work has a feeling of timelessness and suspense because of its rhythmic ambiguity and whole tone based dominant harmonies derived from his mystic chord, which he had read about previously. can be split into three major theme groups. One group that is characterized by slower chromatic winding, one faster and more agitated group characterized by quick leaps and trills, and one featuring themes presented by the brass, a horn fanfare to provide a rhythmic motif, a trumpet fanfare emerging from the surrounding texture, and a more lyrical trumpet theme. These three groups are presented separately at the outset of the piece, but are later developed and combined in different ways. It also builds to two major climaxes, because it felt like there were like 6 at least in there. One in the middle, one in the end. Both are built on themes from the third group and accompanied by string and woodwind tremolos and trills. At the second climax, he introduces low bells and organ and maintains a trumpet and percussion ostinato throughout. It is just incredible. He wrote a poem over 300 lines long to accompany the music, though not to be recited with it. The poem tracks the ascent of a spirit into consciousness, catalyzed by the recurring appearance of trembling presentiments of dark rhythms that later transform into bright presentiments of shining rhythms. Okay, that kind of captures what I was saying. How at some points it starts off in what it seems like a darker kind of place, but it always goes to the same light, so to speak. It says that the spirit realizes the excitement of the struggle against them, contrasts with the boredom, melancholy, and emptiness felt after victory over them. The ascent into consciousness, that's a great word to describe this whole piece, actually. It's quite an ascent. Is illustrated by the gradual shift from third-person spirit to first-person I. Some of the lines here: I call you to life, O mysterious forces, drowned in the obscure depths of the creative spirit, timid. Shadows of life, to you I bring audacity. He approved the following text for the program notes at the premiere of the symphony. The poem of Ecstasy is the joy of liberated action. The cosmos, spirit, is eternal creation without external motivation, a divine play of worlds. Through creative spirit, the universe at play is not conscious of the absoluteness of its creativeness, having subordinated itself to a finality and made a creativity a means towards an end. This is a really interesting piece when you get into the notes and stuff from it. The stronger the pulse beat of life and the more rapid the precipitation of rhythms, the more clearly the awareness comes to the spirit that it is consubstantial with creativity itself. It really gains awareness in that sentiment. It gains sentience. That's the word I'm thinking of. When the spirit has attained the supreme culmination of its activity and has been torn away from the embraces of teleology and relativity, when it has exhausted completely its substance and its liberated active energy, the time of ecstasy shall arrive. That is a great write-up. If you are going to watch some works performed live, and this was in your program text, or in your program rather, I think you would be absolutely ecstatic, no pun intended, to listen to whatever is going to follow. Modest Altschuler, who helped Scriabin revise the score in 1907, and who conducted the premiere, reported that Scriabin's implied program is based on 3 ideas: his soul in the orgy of love, the realization of a fantastical dream, and the glory of his own art. That is absolutely brilliant. This was a really phenomenal piece of music. This music should be played at the funeral of the universe. That's gorgeous. A fitting end. Totally insane, outstanding, crazy harmony. No other composer can make that to a one chord sound like the most rewarding and satisfying ever. One of the most emotionally impactful and beautiful pieces of music. It is really sensational. This was a really fantastic listen. I would love to know what you guys thought of it, of course, down below in the discussion. I hope that you all enjoyed it as much as I did. I hope that this made you feel something, a positive feeling, hopefully more than anything else. Alan, thank you once again for the suggestion. Thank you for the support. And thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. This will start you off quite right. Or end your day quite right. One way or another, it'll hit you quite right.